got a fresh pumpkin. I poked some holes in the top with a skewer stick. And now it has been in the microwave for 1 minute, just so that it's easier to cut. And it's really not quite soft enough for my liking, so I'm going to put it in there 1 more minute. So a minute, take the top off, and then put it in for another minute. All right, you can see the juices coming out of the pumpkin now. We are going to slice it up, and I'm going to use a paring knife to cut it, to peel it, because it's really hard to peel a pumpkin with a chef knife. So I'm just going to cut it in slices. So I'm just going to cut it in strips, then I'm going to scrape them and peel them. All right, I got all the seeds out of them. I'm going to save them. All right, you're just going to use a paring knife and get that center part off. It's real easy to take off since you've zapped it in the microwave. And then you're just going to peel the outside. Now, if your hands are slippery from the seeds, you need to make sure and dry them off good before you start carving off the outside part of the pumpkin, because you don't want to slip and cut yourself. Just get that peel off the outside, and this is the part of the pumpkin you're going to use. So we're just going to cut it up in the bowl, and I'm going to get these all trimmed up and cut up, and then we're going to zap them in the microwave and cook them. All right, we're going to put a little water in this pumpkin and get it in the microwave, and I'm just going to cook it in the microwave. I'm going to put it on about 6 minutes because I want it good and soft. And I may cook it even longer because you don't want lumpy pumpkin in your pie. All right, we're going to season these. I'm going to put a little olive oil on them. Mix them up good. You do that so that your seasoning sticks to them good. And we're going to lay them out on this tray because our oven's already preheated for our pies. So why not go ahead and toast your pumpkin seed while you're mixing up the pies. You got to have time to cook the pumpkin in the microwave. So I thought, hey, I'll just throw these in the oven. It's already preheated. And we're just going to sprinkle cinnamon sugar on them. If you want them spicy, you can sprinkle them with a little more of a spicy mix. But I'm just going to do a cinnamon sugar mix on these today. It'll make the house smell good too. Let's get these in the oven. A nice little snack. All right, it was boiling. You're going to need to make sure that it's fork tender. And it's not quite smashed mushy enough for me. So we are going to, I think I'll stir it up a little bit. The ones that are down in the water might get done quicker. Let's just smash it down in there a little bit. I'm going to put it on 5 more minutes. So we're going to put this in the microwave and we are going to cook it on 5 more minutes. While we're cooking that pumpkin, we're going to mix up our pumpkin pies. This is the same recipe. One will use a can of pumpkin and one will use our fresh pumpkin. So you're going to start out with both pies doing the same thing. We'll be using 1 stick of butter, which is a ½ cup of melted salted butter. I use salted butter all the time in all my recipes. We're going to be using 3/4 cup of evaporated milk in each pie. So I'm just going to scoot these out of the way. You're going to make sure and shake up your evaporated milk and use a puncher to open it. Somebody asked me, why do you use that to open your milk? I use it so it will pour well. So we're going to use a 3/4 cup of milk in each pie. This is evaporated milk. So there's 1. We're going to use 4 large eggs in each pie. I'm going to crack them in here. Put my trash in there. So 1. 2. 3, 4. Now I'm going to go ahead and put 4 more of these in the other bowl. Alrighty, we're going to put a 1/4 cup of sugar and a 1/2 cup of brown sugar for each pie. This is a 1/4 cup of regular sugar. And this is a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. Your hands get sticky when you touch that brown sugar. You gotta rinse them. Okay, now for the spices. Last thing we're gonna put in is our pumpkin. Now our fresh pumpkin is ready, and of course our canned pumpkin has been ready, but they do taste different. This is pumpkin pie spice, and I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon in each pie. Now, if you want it stronger, of course you can make it stronger, but that's all I need in mine. All right, I also put in a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, or it's better to use a whole teaspoon because a pumpkin pie needs to be pretty strong. And instead of using all pumpkin pie spice, I use a 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice and then a teaspoon of cinnamon. It's hard to get that teaspoon down in these spice jars, so that's why I used a 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, we're going to get this out of the microwave. It's really hot. And we're going to use a strainer in a bowl to drain it. Then we're going to smash it up just on a plate. So we're going to grab it. Just make sure you try not to get burnt. And we're going to pour it in our strainer. And of course, it's not going to hurt for it to be a little wet. Okay, so we're just going to put our pumpkin out on a plate and give it a good smash. Make sure you smash it good. Make sure you cook it in the microwave, or if you steam it on the stovetop, that you steam it long enough that it's very fork tender so that you can get a good puree out of it. I thought it would be really neat to show you guys how to make a regular pumpkin pie like this and a canned pumpkin pie in one tutorial. I typically buy a pumpkin and make a pumpkin pie. I don't normally make pumpkin pie out of pureed pumpkin. In a can, that is. I'm going to check on these seeds right quick and see how they're looking. They've been in here for a while. They're probably ready. You really just need to bake them for about 10 or 12 minutes. Should be enough time. I'm going to taste these and just see how different they taste and let you know. This is the fresh. And this is the canned. You really want to know the difference? The canned tastes like a tin can. It really does. That tastes like a can, and this tastes fresh. It's a huge difference. A really big difference. Let's get our seeds out of the oven. Be a good snack. All right, we're going to mix up our ingredients I'm just using the fork. So I got the eggs in there. Let's beat this up really good. I want all that spice down in there good. You can tell that when you beat something in a batter bowl, it mixes better than in a shallow bowl. If you're just using a fork. But y'all can see better in this bowl. Make sure all my spices are mixed up good. I use the whole pumpkin when I make a pie, because all of them are about the same size. And then we're going to use the full can in this pie. And you can tell the color is a lot different. I'm sure they probably put some artificial color in this. Canned pumpkin. Now, if you grew up and your mama made a canned pumpkin pie and your grandmother did, then you're going to like it better than the fresh pumpkin, because that's what you grew up eating. There is a difference in how they taste. Believe it or not, there really is. We're going to get this one mixed up. All right, we're going to pour these in our pie shell. Now, what I am just using a frozen pie crust today, and I pre-baked it for about 12 minutes at 350 degrees. It did crack up a little bit. So be it. I don't mind. Don't freak out if something like that happens. You don't have to throw it away. Just use it. And the best way to do this, really, when you've got a runny pie, and that's what's so great about a batter bowl, is you can actually pour it easier, but you just pour it into the pie crust. Now, this is the canned one. We got a little extra. And this is the fresh one. You can see it's a little lumpier. We got a little extra mix, not a whole lot. I about put them together and make us a little ramekin out of it. We're going to put this in here. We're going to bake this for 45 minutes at 350 degrees. All right, our fresh pumpkin is done before the canned pumpkin one. But I really think I poured a little bit more filling in this one right here, and that's why it's not done. We're going to wait till that one rises all the way in the middle before we take it out. With sweet potato and pumpkin, you can see that little part that's sunken right in the middle. You need to make sure that the middle has raised as well before you take them out of the oven. Now we're getting out the other pie. You can see that it has raised good in the middle. You want it to be cracked in the middle just like it is on the sides. Turn your oven down to 325 if it doesn't, if you don't want it to get too brown. But you can see how high up it is in the middle, just like it is around the edges. It's Thanksgiving weekend, so I need to get these pies cut for you guys and get them on the air. This is our fresh pumpkin. You can tell it's not as smooth as the canned pumpkin because it was more pureed. This one looks slick and this one does not. They're the same exact recipe except the ingredient for the pumpkin. So keep in mind these are still warm. So they're not going to be set up as well as they will once you let them cool all the way down. But for time's sake, I am trying to get these for you guys online so that you guys can see them if you're wanting to bake one of these for Thanksgiving. So they're hot. Very warm right now. So the texture is a lot wetter than it will be once they cool down. This is the canned pumpkin, and this is the fresh pumpkin. And I'm going to give them a try. Then we're going to let Chris taste them blindfolded. Not blindfolded, but he's going to close his eyes and see if he can tell if one tastes different than the other. Let me just sit it down. That's good. They're both really good. I love my pumpkin pie because I don't put too much spice in it. You can really taste the pumpkin. They do taste different. I can tell which one is canned and which one is not. We're going to see if Chris can tell. Okay? And he's not going to know which one I give him first. So let's record him tasting. Open.
Okay. What do you may say? It's good.
We can do this twice if we need to. Or if you can't really tell the difference, let me know.
They definitely taste different. Both of them are really good. I mean, I know which one's which.
You can tell?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
But I can tell by the texture.
Really? You can't tell by the flavor?
Yeah, you can tell by the flavor too.
Well, what do you think is the most difference in the flavor?
This one, the one that's the canned, is a little stronger. Like the pumpkin seems like it's stronger, or it's just got a stronger taste.
Right.
The one that's just a fresh pumpkin, I mean, it tastes lighter and fresher.
It does. You can tell the difference, can't you?
But they're both, I mean, they're both good. Won't be anything wrong with doing it with the canned.
All right, you can record me for a second. Now, the biggest difference in the flavor, if you just closed your eyes and tasted, to me, this one tastes more buttery because it's fresh pumpkin, so you get the flavors of the butter more. It's just good. I love the fresh pumpkin the best. So you guys need to do whatever you've got time to do. If you've got time to fool with a fresh pumpkin, or you can't find canned pumpkin this year, then by all means, grab that little pumpkin in the produce section and make a delicious fresh pumpkin pie this year. Otherwise, either way, they're beautiful on the table. The texture's pretty much close to the same, but not quite. And I know you're going to love the recipe. It makes a pretty pie. So, whether Mama used a fresh pumpkin or a canned pumpkin, you're going to enjoy it. Y'all have a wonderful and happy Thanksgiving from Collard Valley Cooks.